I'm Maura Gamble from Our Permaculture Life, and today I wanted to talk about comfrey. Comfrey would have to be one of my absolute most favourite plants that I have in my permaculture garden. It is so useful for so many reasons. One of the things that I use it for is as an edge plant. It helps to hold mulch back from sliding down a pathway. I use it to collect lots of leaves, and I use it in my no-dig garden. I use it to add to as an activator in my compost, and I make liquid fertilizer tea from it. I often plant it too around the base of all my fruit trees because its deep roots help to bring up nutrients from deep down in the soil, bring them up and actually create its own self-mulching system around the fruit tree. I also make a comfrey oil by steeping the wilted leaves in olive oil for about 28 days, and then I extract that and make my own healing salves from comfrey. So both for inside the home and also in my garden management, I find comfrey to be absolutely indispensable in my system. And one of the things I love about it too is that it's so easy to grow. It grows in so many different climate zones, and it's very easy to propagate. So what I wanted to show you today was how to do that. So firstly, what we need is a garden fork, and we're going to prise it out of the ground, and then I'll show you how to separate it. You can either take a segment of the root or a segment of the root and the leaf. So let's go, and I'll show you how to do that. So what I do now, once I've just prized it gently out of the ground with my fork, well, it actually comes apart in segments sometimes, like this one just has. See, it's a clumping plant, and each one of these little plants that comes out separately can be planted individually. Now I'll just pull a few more out and see if I can get a big chunk of the root system over here as well. Oh, here we go. So you can see this big, thick root here. This would be going right deep down into the soil. So what I'm going to do is break off as many little segments as I can, just gently prise them apart. What I've found is that if you have a section of plant that is connected to the root, within about a week or even a few days, even if I just take off all the leaves and plant that in the ground, I'll get new leaves coming up within a few days. So what I can do out of one plant, actually get perhaps with a small plant like this, maybe 30 or 40 new plants. On a really big comfrey plant that's been growing for a while, I could possibly get 100 new plants. And then I could create a beautiful comfrey border all the way along here. So that's what I like to do. Plant one or two and then just keep spreading and spreading. And so that's a really good reason why, with the whole kind of concept of permaculture, we start small and then just keep building and evolving it as you go. Because as your plants evolve and develop, you can keep propagating them. And a lot of the permaculture plants are just so super easy to propagate. So these offcut leaves will not go to waste at all. I'm going to take these down and pop them into my liquid fertilizer bucket. I grab as much comfrey as I can during the growing season and just fill up buckets that then I top up with water. I've made a film about this before. I'll make a link below so that you can actually click on that and have a look at how I make my liquid fertilizer tea. So this is comfrey as a great liquid fertilizer, and so it's the offcuts that I use for that. Now you might notice too that I've actually left part of the comfrey in the ground. So I prized up a section around it and left this one in. So this will continue to flourish. It's still got its deep root system in there, and I just took off the side of the plant. So that really helps a lot. Now, this large root section here that I've got, it's got one little bit left on there. I can snip that bit off here, and then the bigger root section I can actually chop into small chunks. 1, 2, 3, and each one of those will become a plant too. So I've got lots of comfrey to plant out, and I can put some in a pot and get it going, but mostly what I do is just open the soil and plug it straight in. So I'll show you how I do that now. I'll just put a couple along here just to demonstrate. my daughter Maya, and Maya is becoming quite the herbalist in the garden. She knows so much about the plants that we have in our garden. So what do you know about comfrey?
Well, you can put it in salves and it's really healing, and they also call it nip bone because if you chew it up or if you put it in a salve and you put it on a wound or a broken bone or something, it can fix it really quickly.
And the naturopath actually told us once, didn't they, that if you use the spit, if you chew it up, it helps to break the cells, and then you put that straight on if it's an emergency.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
fascinating,
one time
isn't it?
I had a cut and then I put it on and it worked really well.
Yeah, it's great. And I love the fact that our garden is also our medicine cabinet as well as our food basket and all of those things. And it's wonderful, isn't it, just to be able to pop out and grab what you need.
Yeah, it's one of the best plants in the garden and it's right next to the aloe vera. So if you've got a burn, then you can go and get the aloe vera and then you can get comfrey to soothe it.
Yeah, it's
really
great.
good.
Thanks, Maya.
Okay.
So I've got my comfrey leaves to put into the liquid fertiliser bucket. I've been putting all sorts of things into these at the moment, weeds of all sorts that I find around the garden that I really don't want to put into the compost because they have seeds that might come through. So I'm going to add the comfrey in. If I break it up and squish it up a bit more, it'll break down more rapidly. Just add it in on top of what's already wonderfully fermented liquid fertiliser, and very soon this will be great to put out on the garden. So I'll just let that steep for maybe a week or two, and then that will be going out in the garden. All done. So thanks for watching. It's Maura Gamble from Our Permaculture Life. Don't forget to subscribe to my videos, and there's a button at the end too if you'd like to be my Patreon. So see you next week.